Welcome to the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Series. My name is Jody Maley, and I've been an entrepreneur and business owner for over 27 years now. Thanks for joining the podcast, and I can't wait to share with you tips and ideas on how to grow your heart-centered entrepreneur business. As a personality dimensions coach, I help entrepreneurs discover who they are at their core so they can have real and authentic sales conversations with their ideal clients. We all started or joined a business so that we can make an income on our terms. Whether you're just starting out in your entrepreneur journey or have been in sales for a while, the key to any business is sales and nurturing the sales relationship. So I invite you to sit back, relax, maybe even have your favorite drink and take some notes as we have fun delving in to learn more from the top 1% to 2% income earners who are making such a difference and impact for themselves and their beautiful teams. Their tips and ideas will uplift and inspire you in a heart-centered, authentic way to help lift you up, move you forwards towards your perfect dream and goal. So stay tuned to the end of each podcast as I will share a little gift from me that I know will get you inspired in your beautiful business. So hey everyone, Jody Maley here with the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Series, and I have a very special guest today, Dr. Guy. And you know what's so cool is that when I talked to Guy and then I found out that we're both Canadians, so how cool is that? We like it. And then I also, when I was talking to him, I'm like, well, my people I talk to are mostly women. And he's like, that's fine. You know, he says most of the people in his downline happen to be women entrepreneurs. So I'm like, perfect. It's just like every time I talk to this man, he just brings so many good insights and that we're so much alike. And I love that about connecting and meeting with people. So I'm going to let Dr. Guy introduce himself a little bit, and then I'm going to ask him some questions and we'll just kind of let the conversation flow. So.
Awesome. Great to be here. And thank you so much, Jody, for having me on. And hopefully I can give a little bit of value and some nuggets for my journey.
Absolutely. So obviously, I kind of call you a little bit new to the network marketing world because I've been doing this 27 years. You know, ages me really a lot right there. But before you were in network marketing, you had a different life. So do you want to talk a little bit about the transition over for what you used to do and then how you became an enlightened network marketer?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'll share the story.
Yeah.
So my quick story, I am a former Israeli military, and my background is as a vet surgeon, which is kind of my career for the last 20 years. I've been in the veterinary profession as a veterinarian and a lot of orthopedic surgeries and everything too. And my wife and I, we left our home country, Israel, and we moved to Canada about 15 years ago, 2007, to just kind of pursue a better career and lifestyle for the family. And I do have a background after the military. I was a personal trainer, and I actually worked with some other people into nutrition for people because I'm always about, health and wellness. And we were doing a research that ended up with actually creating a product line within the omega-3s, plant-based and everything. And this research got to people that launched a new company, and they invited me to take a look at it and actually paid to get me there at 2012. So that's how things started.
Excellent. And so in that journey, now I know that you're no longer with that particular company, but what is it that made you choose? I mean, going from being a veterinary orthopedic surgeon type thing to being now into network marketing, like, I know you had a little bit of a journey in there. What made that transition even more viable for you?
Yeah, for sure. So to be honest with you, back then, 2012, I was completely naive and I wasn't even looking. But at that time, I'm 49. My wife, she's 6 years older, and coming and living, Israel and the Mediterranean and everything. And all of a sudden, she left a big career behind and sitting at home in the rain. And we had, our girls were young. She got, clinical depression. And that product specifically from this company, I remember it was crazy. It was a pharmaceutical grade of, believe it or not, chia seeds, like a $12 million in the development and everything too. And she went from real bad clinical depression, and we were both miserable, to after, I think it was 9 weeks, all of a sudden, it was like someone turned the light flip back on with her and, with our marriage and everything. I'm like, oh, wow, that's interesting. And then the founders of the company, hey, we should open your home country, Israel, and you can be a founding distributor. And I'm like, what is that?
That's that.
And I'm like, listen, I'm a dad, I'm a vet surgeon. Like, she's like, no, it's a different business. And these were my first steps, really, discovering network marketing. We were absolutely clueless, and I don't even know how it happened, but we kind of landed, 6 figures within the first, I think, 10 or 14 months back then. But for my kind of skeptical, jaded brain, former Israeli military, a vet surgeon and everything, I went like, so I can do other things rather than being a veterinarian. And, we live here in British Columbia, Vancouver. And even then, now, even way more with the pandemic and the inflation and everything. Yeah. But I had this running joke that beautiful British Columbia, when you come here, especially with kids and some hobbies that they have, I call it bring cash. So this, together with everything, and I'm like, oh, wow, so I can do this too. And then I actually started digging deeper and understanding. And honestly, what really, really, really opened my eyes is I started finding personal development. And one of my very first mentors was Tony Robbins. So I'm like, actually, I'm going to check out the event. And I went to the events, and it was a shocking experience, especially when you're
all the jumping up and
and medical professional and everything about textbooks and science, and all of a sudden, you have to shout and everything. But you know what? I found new kind of sites, and I really found that although I was great at what I was doing, I wasn't doing much to develop myself. Right. And all the people that I met along the way, specifically they were healthy, they were happy. A lot of them had time freedom and financial freedom. Mm-hmm. And again, not to be, kind of to judge, but most of the people in the veterinary profession, they're awesome with the patients and the dogs and the cats. And I'm talking from experience practicing in different continents, even in the US and Europe and Israel and here. But they're not necessarily so good with themselves, a lot of gossip and everything. So all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I want to be with these people. So that's kind of how this whole thing started, 2012.
It's like you found your tribe. You found the people you want to hang with.
Yeah.
Like I grew up here in the small town that I'm in. I was born like in Winnipeg, and then our family moved here when I was quite young. So I've been a BC person pretty much my whole life. And, like you're kind of limited by, I really believe this, and I know you're going to say yes to this too, because it sounds like we're so much alike, but you really become who you surround yourself with. And I think I had an enlightenment to that, a few years ago when I was regional vice president with the company. And then I tell that to people locally, because our town's only like 12,000 people or so. So it's not a metropolis or anything like that. But it was like, people look at you like, what? You're a what? And you do what? And then it's like they can't believe that you come out of this small town, but have and want a bigger vision. And so it wasn't until I started with a different company that actually, ironically, sold self-development products that I'm like, oh, I get it now. I get that surrounding yourself with the people that you want to up levels you. And it does. It brings you into a whole different self-love, self-empowerment, and that you really do have gifts to give to the world that the world needs.
Yeah, 100%, 100% for sure.
All right. And so this is just kind of an intro to get to know you, and that you're going to be doing some training for us here that we're going to have together, packaged for people. And I believe your training is about mindset, correct?
And it's going to be mostly creating permanent success through the leadership journey.
Excellent. And I know that you guys are going to love that, what he's teaching, because he's already, I'm doing PowerPoints and I'm going to have blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, excellent. You know what? And so for people who have different learning styles, because this is all part of leadership too, is really identifying that there are several different kind of learning styles and learning types. And the number one thing is for people to know, like, and trust you, which is why, you know, getting to know you on the podcast and knowing who you are and who I am creates and establishes that. And then people go, oh, I can connect with that guy. You know, he's talking my language. He's talking what I need. And I like Jody, you know, she's speaking, because I'm very big too of not being gimmicky. There's a lot of gimmicks, I think, out there in network marketing, and you're nodding your head. So for those who are listening to us on listening, yeah, there are a lot of different gimmicky things out there with network marketing, and people think it's a get rich overnight type thing. Would you like to comment on that? Of what do you think is success and how that works for you? Was it get rich overnight?
So I'll answer by again sharing a story.
Yay!
So I went through, I don't know, probably 8 different things.
Okay.
That some of them went up a little bit. So I would say 8 things that you can call it failure. You know, from this company, that how we started 2012 and then merge with a bigger company, you all get excited, thinking everything would be amazing, and then everything is crashing and burning. So this crashed and burned after a year and a half. And then I was actually working with another company. It was a high ticket sales and everything. And again, you know, like you said, not a gimmick, but something that is very sexy and attractive from a product standpoint. And, you know, you get excited for a little bit and then it dies. I was actually working with a gentleman by the name of Russell Brunson, who helped me write my first 2 books. And I was in the affiliate, and I had the Amazon FBA business. It was $15,000 a month before my wife and I got a big lawsuit, and we had to advise with all the attorneys here and then pull the product, and this whole thing fell apart. And then I was building a startup around the medical device in the network marketing that went up like a rocket, teams in 19 countries, and then it went down like the Titanic in 2018. So in between those things, it's probably 150,000 that, you know, invested in different things. But that's the university. That's the, you know, that's the kind of the field.
That's what you call the learning up curve.
Yeah. But if you're able to stay loyal to your vision, and my vision from the beginning was to create a real residual, very peaceful, without selling and everything. And you have to embrace the suck. And I find the biggest issue, especially for professionals, people who come in, you know, in their 40s, 50s. I'm even working with people in their 60s now and 70s. And, you know, professionals, you know, maybe in the whatever, medical professionals, attorneys, in education, nursing, and everything like that, business owners, you have to accept that you will lose some of your social esteem, prestige for a little bit. Right. And I think that's something that for most people is very difficult. And it's really easier for most people to hide behind a shiny, like you said, a gimmick, whether it's a product or services or disrupting the industry, ground floor. So I stay away from those. And that's why I'm the business I'm in now. But yeah, a lot of people come in because of that. And they expect that the gimmick, the trend, you know, will create you something. And this cannot be, you know, farther away from the truth. You actually have to build something. You actually have to build yourself. You actually have to lead others and be of service and value. And that's kind of what I'm teaching right now, is a lot of people how to build their own brand, how to give value, and how to document the journey from the get-go, actually.
Oh, love it. I love it. And you know what? I am looking forward to, well, the small little training that you're going to give us is about 35 to 45 minutes, somewhere around that. And that this could lead to more for people. So people want more from you, which I'm sure they will. Guy and I are going to collaborate on that and bring you guys more, because that's what I think being a service is about is, and this is what I found in this industry. And I want to go back to this a little bit too, of where you said that it's, developing yourself, believing in yourself and investing in yourself is one thing. And then the other thing too, is just having some simple systems in place so that you're tracking it. Because I think that's the other thing too, that people in our business, they can just go wild and crazy, and they think, and I know you're going to agree with me on this one too. They really think that, and it's something where they're trained by their upline, their downline, their sideline, whoever, that they have to be speaking to thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And that, they're always seeking that new customer, new client, new customer, new client. And I always tell people, even though I train on sales and leadership development, I'm actually a horrible salesperson. I suck at it, but I'm a really good service person.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where it comes into that in the top businesses that I've been with, I have not had, thousands and thousands and thousands of new people, maybe leads for sure, like people to put in front of me to kind of, go through the sorting process and stuff. But I really only have and work with like a core group of people. And then I take those people and develop those people. And relationship building, just that, there's that myth that you have to have thousands of people when really you don't. You just have to work with, a few hundred good people and good leaders to develop. So.
Yeah. And exactly. Like, I like that a lot. And I call it the farm team.
Yeah.
And, the farm team. And I tell people that, again, like you have to put like relationships before there is partnership. And if people really strip a lot of the success stories, and I was actually in a private leadership retreat last week in Tulum, with kind of the top people there and all the success, people who are making multiple 6 figures, 7 figures, multiple 7 figures, it really boils down, if the people they're actually working with and helping them as well, those are people that they develop relationships with. So I think that's something that goes a long way, especially in the, online world that we live in. And a lot of people are trying to hide behind messages and screens, where we teach the exact opposite, which actually I want to get to know you. And I want to see that we vibe and connect before there's even partnership or anything like that. So I'm a big believer into real relationships. And, sometimes it's not comfortable, and sometimes, the tough conversations, but that's what leadership and growth is all about.
And every single leader has gotten, everybody has different skill sets. And so Guy's skill sets are different from my skill sets. And some of the leaders that you were probably with had different skill sets. And I think that that's the other thing too, when you are growing a business, is really hone in where your skill set is. And then, you can hire out the rest to help you on those skill sets where you're the weakest. People are the greatest. That's kind of my philosophy. Yeah. And that you can kind of help each other with that. So I love it.
For sure.
One other quick question that I want to ask you, and that is, if you were to give yourself some advice when you were starting out in 2012, I think you said, what piece of advice would you give yourself starting out as an entrepreneur that you wish you had known now?
Mm-hmm. So the real shortcut, and I'm trying to help a lot of people with this right now to save all those years and tears and money and everything, is mentorship.
Yeah.
The real shortcut is mentorship, meaning success leaves clues. We know that. It's finding someone that has done what you are seeking to do. Now, I don't personally take advice from people, not only more successful than me, but success. A lot of people are looking, oh, how much money he made. No, I want to see the family. I want to see the value system. If for me, if I'm buying into your advice, I want to see that your lifestyle, and that goes to how you treat people, especially when you don't need them, how you speak to your spouse, what's the relationship with the kids, not just the money is there. So I will buy into your lifestyle first in order to get advice. So mentorship is the shortcut for me, but you're not going to get mentorship from somebody who's making 7 figures. And for me to be eligible and kind of, be ready for the mentor, there are 2 things that needs to be in place. One is character and personality. And the second one is production. You have to be able to produce something. You don't need to be a top producer, but nobody will mentor you if you don't have the character. And number one is a pleasing personality. Yeah, I want to feel good when I'm around you. Otherwise, so
you want to leave a conversation going, wow, Jody just made my day. I want to go talk to her again.
Yeah. So if you are calling me and the first thing, oh, my team is not, and I go, whoa. I'm already like, so for me, I kind of block negativity. Yeah. I have a lot of walls around my mindset. So if I feel negativity, I'm out. Yeah. I just don't have any space, any capacity for it anymore. So you want to have a pleasing personality. You want to be coachable. And on the coachability kind of part, a lot of us, especially, again, because I work with a lot of people like me, they've been in the profession for 15, 20 years. Now there's a new calling. Now they want more cash flow, more time freedom and everything. And we almost have to bust through 10, 20 years of, concrete to get rid of the old conditioning and everything. And a lot of people, they're willing to learn something new. So for me, coachability is a formula. And this formula is, number one, the ability to learn, which most people excel at. We all have all these devices. We can Google everything within seconds, and we have all the information. You know what they say? We are drowning in information, but we are starving for wisdom. And the second part of the coachability formula is the ability to change. The ability to change your ways. And the ability to change your ways is your way of thinking even. It's your way of speaking to yourself. Because really, that's where the business lives. Let's agree, in between those 6 inches in between our ears, right? And that's the struggle for most people, is to change their ways. Yes, they're willing to learn, but coachability, unfortunately, it's a type of a mathematical formula. Hey, I'm still a medical professional and come from science. So I use both, right? Spirituality and science. I married them. So if you're 90% coachable, it's the same as 0.
Right.
It's 0. So yeah, so that's kind of, I think, yeah.
My husband has been working in the logging industry for years, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know whether this comes from a logging analogy or whatever, but you kind of reminded me of, like, we have up here like 2x4s and how they measure wood and stuff like that. And I'm like, and then I had said to someone, oh yeah, that's like a 6x12. And they're like, what kind of math is that? That's horrible. I'm like, no, because you just remind me of that. The 6 inches here goes to the 12 inches down here.
I love that. Nice.
So it's a 6x12 attitude. And then people go, yeah, what's that? So that's my little input into the 6 inch leads to a 12 inch, and that, for those who are listening to us, I meant 6 inches between the head goes to 12 inches to your heart. Because when you have that head, then you have the heart connection as well. And those two, you need them. Because in this, you need to have the change of mindset, but you also have to have the heart and the drive for who you are serving. Why are you here? Who are you meant to be with? And I think for everyone, when they have an ideal client avatar, because we talk about that a lot in different programs and stuff. And one girl I was coaching the other day, short story, she's like, oh, I help 25 to 35-year-old women, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, oh, how many clients and customers do you have? She's like, well, 75. So then I'm like, start talking about some of them. And it was interesting because her clients who have given her the biggest referrals were like 60-year-old women who had joint problems, who then referred to their friends and had referrals. And I'm like, so your client avatar really isn't the 25 to 35-year-old in shape people. So she's like, and like, that's where you have to narrow down, who do you serve? Where's your heart at? And then you're just attracting those people to you for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
borrow from you the 6 and the inches and the 12.
The 6 by 12.
Yeah, from the head to the heart. Yes.
That's right.
Like
when people say that they have to have God hit them in the head with a 2x4.
Yeah.
Now you can be, well, you know what? You can hit your business with a 6 by 12.
Yeah. Love it. Love it.
All right. Well, I cannot wait for your training. It's going to be up on jodymaley.com and, of course, into our Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Series group. You guys will see it packaged in there when it becomes available. I know that Guy is going to be sharing with us some great tips that you guys can take and use. That's the thing. We want you guys to provide provide value that people can take away. And it sounds like Guy even has a bigger program that he offers for people too. So maybe I'll get him to talk about that a bit too. All right.
All good.
So
awesome.
Thank you so much for being here. And this is Jody Maley with the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur and Dr. Guy Arad, who is my guest today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned a lot. Each one of my guests have a special and unique spot in my heart as they have shared what they love about their business and how they truly have grown in their entrepreneur journey. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and I would love to gift to you a fun and easy quiz that you can take right now that will help you assess how you feel about the sales process in your beautiful business. Building relationships, lifting each other up so we can all gain more in our lives and our business is what is truly important to me. And my hope is that in some small way, I've been able to do that for you today. So again, this is Jody Maley with the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Series here in beautiful BC, Canada. Truly have a great and inspired rest of your day. The link to the quiz will be attached below, and please like, follow, and share this podcast if it inspired you.